it's your girl Rajanae. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys for coming to my channel. First of all, love you guys so much. Again, this same shirt, okay? If you've seen this shirt in my other video, no you didn't. But here we go, okay? We have another story time for you guys. You guys are probably mad about the last story time that I told because your girl was really trying to figure out the time frame, the details, all of that. And so I'm gonna try my best to do the same in this video, or not the same, but do better in this story time. So without further ado, let's get to it, y'all. So my second story time for Vlogtober. This is about the time that a woman came running to me bleeding. Yes. Let's get to it, y'all. So, as you guys know, the last story time that I told, that was taking place in El Paso. This story time also takes place in El Paso, but not in 2015. This would be 2018? Maybe 17, 18, y'all. I don't even want to lie to you guys. I don't remember, but it was like a couple of years later. And at this point, you know, I've been living in El Paso for a couple years, you know, it's cool. Like the area was more developed at this point because, as you know, the last story time, it wasn't as developed as it was then at this point in the story. It wasn't as developed then. And it was coming out pretty nicely. I lived in a pretty good neighborhood other than the last situation. If you didn't watch that story time, go watch that story time. But yeah, it wasn't as bad as it was then, like really decent neighborhood. So a little backstory, as you know, before I get deep into the story, okay? In El Paso at this point, like I went to college, and then I had like a little job in college because before then I'd never worked ever. Like I've never had an actual job, like a 9-to-5 job. But at this point, like I was in college because my degree is in communications, specifically communications, but cinematic broadcasting and radio and television. So that's what my degree is in. And at this point, like because I was taking audio classes and video classes, I was always in a particular area of the school. So they offered me a job. But fast forward, like I manifested to graduate early, and that's what I did. So hello. But anyways, fast forward, like I ain't got no job. And so me being new into the area and whatnot, like I lived like down the street from like this plaza, and it had a gym. I was working at a gym. I'm not gonna say what gym I was working at. I'm not gonna say what gym I was working at, but I was working at a gym. But before then, like this gym was down the street, and like I said, this was like around COVID and stuff like that. So I was very serious about my fitness. Like since I was stuck in the house, you couldn't go nowhere. Y'all remember that time when we had that shutdown and you couldn't leave the house and whatnot? It was like, what is a girl to do around here? Like, trust me, like I'm a creative individual. So, you know, I try to find things. I was like reading, I was writing music, you know, all the other stuff. But I was like, what is a girl to do around here? And I took my fitness serious, okay? So at this point, me living here, I was like, I really want to go to a gym. Like I really want to get a membership, but it's like, but you already know the memberships be costing, okay? And your girl didn't have no job. So it's like, how are you gonna go to a gym with no money, with no funds? How are you gonna do that? So my stepdad was like, why don't you just work there? Girl, like why wasn't I thinking, like for real, like I don't know what was wrong. I don't know what was wrong with me, but that makes sense, you know what I mean? Like there you have a job, right? You get money, you get paid, but you also have access to the gym since I'm so serious about my fitness. Duh. All right, so boom, fast forward, I get the job. But let me mind you, okay, like at this point, like your girl didn't, I think I had my, no, I did. I think I had my license, or I had my, what you call it? What's it called? Like when you do a driver's test and you get like you don't have your license, but you got the other ID before you get the license, whatever that was called. I think I had that for a little while before I actually had my license. Um, but I had my license, but I didn't have a car at this point. And when you're working at a gym, this is something that I didn't know. So if you're ever thinking about working at a gym or something like that, always have a car. Have a car, because I wasn't thinking that with working at a gym. Like, I didn't know that because this particular gym had like, it was like a, what do you call it? I can't think today. And it's Monday. That's why. I forgot what it's called, but it's like there was like multiple locations of this gym, and I didn't realize that when you apply to work at one gym, you're basically gonna have to drive to all gyms, basically. Like, just because you apply to this one doesn't mean that you're gonna be working there and you're staying at that exact location the whole time that you have the job. No, you're gonna have to drive from that location one day and then go to that location tomorrow and then go to that location another day. Like, I didn't know that was a thing, but I told them my situation and I told them that I did not have a car, didn't even have the funds to even get a car or even realize at the time what it took to get a car, you know what I mean? So they basically worked with me by saying that particular location that was by my house, I could stay there. Like, just, not really like tell people right now, like it's nobody's business, you know what I mean? So then, boom, like I got a job. I was working there for a little while. It was like my first job or whatever. I was getting paid like $9 something. I think $9 an hour or something like that. But it was cool and whatnot. Like, I had to like sweep, mop floors, clean bathrooms, which I hated that the most. Clean like, areas of the gym, like wipe down all the equipment, like disinfect all the equipment, vacuum, mirrors, windows, all of that. Okay. So this is what I was doing at that particular location because that location was closest to me, and honestly it was walking distance. So I was cool. Like, I didn't have to worry about driving and all that. Fast forward, okay, because at this point, like, we're about to move, okay? This is the point we're about to move back to Hawaii and live there for a second time. So in the process of us moving, we had to move to a different house that was closer, I think closest to the airport or something like that. So that's what we had to do, and we had to live in that house, or my stepdad or whatever rented that house, okay? And that's where we was living until we had to move. It wasn't that long. I think he was only there for like maybe a couple weeks, something like that. But in the process of moving, I had to tell my job, hey, I'm moving back to Hawaii. So I will not be living around this area anymore, which means that I won't be able to be coming to this location because now it's going to be a farther distance. And mind you, I still don't have a car. Yes, sometimes, some years later, your girl still ain't had no car. I was living way too comfortable. Don't be like me. But anyways, I still didn't have a car. So I was like, there's no way for me to just be going back and forth, from that house or whatnot to, coming to this location. So I told them, at this point, like, they kept opening like new locations of gyms, and they told me that I can work at this particular location until I was moving. So let's say the location that was by my house at the time was like Hudson City. So the next location that I had to work, and to be honest with you, that location, I was working at that location, and then I kind of went to another location because it wasn't really that far. I think I was taking Uber, or like my mom or whoever would drive me sometimes. But I was going back and forth between those two locations because they were kind of like close distance. But I was mostly at, let's call it Lily Valley. Okay, so boom, at this point, we're in the process of moving in a couple of weeks and whatnot, and they transferred me to work at the Lily Valley location. So when I was at this location, it was freshly new. It wasn't as big, but it was still a really nice like gym location. I still had to do the same chores that I was doing at the Hudson City location. Clean the bathrooms, the toilets, the sinks, the mirrors, the windows, disinfect all the equipment, all that stuff, okay? Mind you, when I was working at the gym, like, let me tell you something. Like, first of all, when it comes down to it, I'm a very punctual person, so your girl is never late. if I was late, it was because that there was an accident or something. You know what I mean? But don't think that your girl intentionally likes to be late, because I don't. So your girl is always on time. But you know, when it came to me clocking into work, like I hated working, and to this day I still hate working. But you know, I was just like, boom, you know, when I come in there, I already know what I got to do, you know what I mean? And I already know how to do it. Like I got a system ran down. So at this point, I knew that when I clocked in and I had to switch spots with whoever I was switching with, like I would go, I would start wiping the windows outside, then start wiping the windows inside. Like basically, I did most of my chores, if not all of my chores, as soon as I clocked in. Just so for the rest of my shift, I could just sit there and basically patrol, you know, who was coming in, you know, who was sneaking people in, you know, signing people up for memberships, that kind of situation. Because at that point, like I didn't want to have to like, that sounds bad, but I didn't really feel like spreading out my chores like that, you know, to where like I had to keep walking out and doing something new every time. Like, and sometimes like I'd be watching the game. Like if I was out there disinfecting the machines and stuff, like I'd be watching the game. I'd probably be chilling on my phone, and they'd be having cameras like in the office, so you really couldn't be on your phone like that, because then they would catch you and then you kind of get in trouble. But you know, I would try to keep myself somewhat like productive during that time, but I didn't feel like really doing my chores like spread out like that. Like I always like to do my chores like as soon as I clocked in, so that, you know what I mean, I can just kind of chill, you know, occasionally walk out and make sure everything is okay, you know, talk with guests and stuff like that. But I didn't really feel like, you know, doing all that. Like I wanted to just hurry up and get all that done so I didn't have to worry about it. Plus, like there was a guy at the time that would go to that gym, and he would always just talk to me, and it was just kind of creepy, you know what I mean? Like, but that's a whole nother, we don't have to get into all that. But that's why like I like to do my chores ahead of time, because those days that I figured that he would be there, I could just like stay in the office without being out there on the floor and him just talking to me. Or if I knew that he would come to the office, because he always had to come to talk to the office, or like come in the office and just like talk to me for no reason. Sorry. You know, I would just, you know, basically like go out on the floor and just be like busy and just like busy myself, so that he wouldn't have to talk to me and whatnot. But all right, so let's get to it. One particular day that I had to work at the gym, I had like an evening shift, which means I had to close. No matter what job I have, I hate to close. Like, I don't know what it is, but I hate closing. Like, I hate working, period. I'm just a girl, guys, okay? Like, I'm just a girl. But I hate to close because it's late at night. It's just, like, it just be seeming like the shift be lasting longer than what it should be lasting. Like, I don't want to have to be there longer than what I have to. I don't even want to be here, okay? But I'm here, you know what I mean? Because I got to make a living. At least try to anyways in this world that we live in. But you know what I mean? I hated to close, but I had an evening shift and there was no way obviously I could get out of it. Like I was trying to make as much money as I could before I had to move back to Hawaii. So boom, I had an evening shift and it was at Lily Valley location. I don't remember how I got there. I think my mom dropped me off. So boom, like I'm there, I'm switching places with whoever I had to switch with, and you already know the deal. Like as soon as I get there, I'm already starting on my chores because I don't feel like doing it like later on for the rest of the night and whatnot. Like I'm just trying to hurry up and get it over with so I can just kind of chill and whatnot. So I'm doing my chores, windows, mirrors, bathrooms, trash, like all of that, right? So as my shift goes on and on and on, like I'm chilling in the office, but I know that somebody's watching me in the office because they got cameras and whatnot. So every now and again, like I would go out onto the floor, disinfect, you know, probably like sweep, you know, again, you know, probably like, you know, clean the mirrors again, or just do something to kind of like busy myself, you know, but make it look like I'm doing something when I'm probably not doing nothing because I'm probably in the closet. But, you know, still trying to like busy myself, okay? So as the night goes on, you know, it's like, I want to say it's about 8:30-ish, almost 9 p.m. And at this point, I think I was closing at 10. So it's basically probably like 8:50-ish going on 9, if not 9 p.m. at this point. And like I'm sitting in the office, mind you, like this is a new location, so I'm closest to the window. Like the office is literally next to a window, and I'm looking out, and since it's like a new area that this gym was located, like I could barely see the street. Like I could barely see the street, anything that's beyond the street. Like I can't see anything, like other than like I don't think that gym really had lights really outside like that. It probably had like one light or so, but it was so dark outside that you could barely see out the window. Like it just looked like you was looking at pure blackness. When I was at, what I call it, Hudson Valley, or yeah, Hudson City, my bad, these names get out of control. When I was in Hudson City, like it was a little different, you know what I mean, by the way the office was put. Like the office wasn't automatically by the door, or it wasn't by a window. Like it was kind of like a roundabout area, and then you know, you had to walk around the corner, and then the window would be right there and the doors would be right there. So you wasn't literally next to a window. But at Lily Valley, I was next to a window and was looking at pitch blackness. So in my mind, I'm not gonna lie to you, like that scared me, because it's like I can't see anything, you know, anybody could come around these windows and just, you know, like I'm scary like that. I'm scary like that. But I can barely see outside by the window, and I'm literally right next to it. So, you know, it's late at night, you know, I'm sitting in the office, I'm on the phone. I don't remember if I was watching my god sister, because at that point my god sister was playing basketball, and I can't remember if I was watching her basketball game or if I was just on my phone. But it's late, okay? And you know, I'm on my phone, and next thing you know, I see like headlights like pull up to the window, or they're like by the window and whatnot. And somebody pulls up to the parking lot and they park. They literally park like right in front of me, like right in front of the glass window that I'm sitting next to. Like they're parked right in front of the window. And I'm thinking nothing of it, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, okay, they're about to come to the gym and whatnot, cool. So nothing of it. Like I'm still on my phone and whatnot, but I realized that the person that pulled up to the parking spot never got out the car. They're still in the car. Mind you, the headlights was still on. So I want to keep looking at the window, you know, to look at the person that pulled up in the parking space, but at the same time, like I'm not trying to like stare, you know what I'm saying? Because like that's probably weird. Like I even hate being stared at. So I didn't want to have to keep looking and looking and looking and staring and trying to figure out like who's in the car, are you getting out, like what do you want type situation. Like I feel like that was kind of awkward, but I couldn't help like not like peeking and looking, because I'm like, they did not come out the car. Like they've been sitting there for like 5-10 minutes and whatnot. They didn't come out the car yet, but boom, it's not that serious, right? You know, headlights is on, whatnot. Eventually, they cut the headlights off, but like they still didn't like come out the car and whatnot. Mind you, I'm still thinking nothing of it, but it's just, I don't know, for some reason it's bothering me. Like, I don't know why, but it bothered me so much that the person pulled up, but like nobody came out the car. Like, and it's been minutes and minutes. Like, what's going on? Like, I don't know why, but it just irked me so bad. Next thing you know, mind you, let me pause right here, okay? Because there's two ways to get into this gym, no matter what location. Like all locations have them. They have a member entrance, which is on the opposite side. And if you have like a card or like a key or something like that, you're able to get in, and that just lets us know that you're a member already. So you have access to the gym. If you're a guest, you can't go through the membership way, obviously, because it's like, it's being looked at as if you're sneaking in. So you have to come through the guest entrance. And the guest entrance in this case was closest to me, closest to the office, and it was closest to the window, right? So mind you, I know the car is still there and nobody came out, but I'm like trying my best not to keep looking and worrying about who's in it. You know what I mean? Like I'm just trying to mind my business. So like I'm trying to forget about it. Next thing you know, a woman, like I just see like whoosh, like she runs and she like flings open the guest door and she just runs to the office and she starts screaming at me, help me, please help me, can you call the police, can you please help me, like he beat me and I'm bleeding in my nose, and I'm over here like, wait, what? Like I'm sorry, I'm so confused. Like basically, like at this point, if anything, she said like, help me, please call 911, please call the police. She's crying, her face is bloody, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like she literally caught me off guard, you know what I mean? And I didn't even know where she came from, you know, because remember I told you there was a car that pulled up to the front by the office, but like I didn't see nobody get out of it. So I don't know where she came from. I'm still trying to figure out, was she the person that was in the car, or is the person in the car still in there? Like, I'm like so confused right now, but she literally caught me off guard, right? So she's crying to me. She's trying to like hold her face or cover her face, but I see that her face is bloody, and she's demanding for me to call 911. So I'm like, okay, oh my gosh. So like I'm calling 911. I'm trying to stay as calm as possible. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't actually like scared, but she did like catch me off guard, and I'm like freaked out, and I'm like worried at the same time because her face is bloody. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And so mind you, I didn't even tell you guys that some of my coworkers came into the gym before this happened. And one of the coworkers, he ran in because I guess he saw at the last minute what was going on. So he was like, Rajanae, what's up? What's going on? What happened? Like, what's up? Like, he's just like urgent, you know? And I'm trying to tell him what's going on. He's looking at the lady and she's crying. And he was like, all right, bet. Say no more. You know what I mean? So he's trying to help me and trying to like comfort her while I'm trying to call 911. And at the same time, he's like, it was him and two other guys that was working in the gym because they was working out and they were by the door, but they were like working on arms, something like that. So I'm gonna say, what can I call my coworker? I'm gonna call him like Anthony. Anthony is like basically kind of like he hurries up and he locks the guest door so that nobody else can come in. Because I think at that point when she ran in, I think what the guys were saying, there was a guy that was running after her, but when he saw that there was two guys that was coming to the door to make sure that he wouldn't come in, he like ran off and dipped somewhere to the darkness. Mind you, you can't see what's out there anyway, so he just ran and dipped. So he didn't come in. He was about to, but he didn't make it in because I think he saw Anthony and he saw the two other guys by the window and by the door, and he was like, maybe like, oh hell no, like, and just dip. But basically what the lady was telling me, well, I'm trying to call 911, I'm trying to give them the address of where we're at and like the situation. The lady was basically saying to me that she was in the car with like her boyfriend, I'm assuming, and I think her daughter was in the car with her because she did have her daughter with her. It was like a domestic abuse type situation. Like, I guess he was always beating on her, but it was one of those situations where, you know, she was explaining like, you know, we were talking and he thought that I was cheating on him or something like that, and he just punched me. Like, I don't know if he repeatedly was punching on her and whatnot, but he was punching her so hard or so badly or continuously that he broke her nose. So that's why her nose was bleeding and whatnot. And at the time that, you know, because I think he was also smoking or drinking, or he was doing, I'm not sure, because it was happening in front of, the little girl was in the back seat. So this was all happening while she's in the back seat. But that's why I'm assuming that when it happened, she came out running from the car, you know, and was trying to escape. But like I said, when she came in, he tried to come in afterwards, but like I said, Anthony and the two other guys, they was in the gym, and he kind of backed up and ran off. So there was a woman, because I think one of the guys that was patrolling the door and whatnot and trying to make sure everything was good and okay, she had the daughter like in a whole nother room in the back, while me and like Anthony and like, you know, other guys was trying to figure out like what to tell the police and talking to the police and whatnot. And she was crying to me. She was just telling me like the story and the situation, and I think something about she had surgery before on her nose, but maybe she had to get obviously another surgery because he broke her nose. So maybe that's not the first time that he's done that. It was a lot going on that night. Like, I wish I could tell you like everything that was said. I'm glad Anthony was there. You know what I mean? Anthony has always been like a cool co-worker. We didn't really talk that much, but he was a funny guy. He was serious about fitness as well. He was like an extrovert kind of person. So yeah, I'm glad that he was there, because he was there to kind of help with the situation. I want to say he also called my manager. But yeah, other than that, I wish I could tell you everything else that really happened that night. Like I said, I think the cops showed up, but at that point, like, it was time for me to like clock out for the night. People could still be in the gym working out and whatnot, but once it's my time to clock out, nobody else can come in and ask for memberships or sign people up or anything like that, because I'm out. Like, I lock the office and whatnot, and I lock all doors that need to be, and I'm done for the night. But yeah, basically, I think my managers and whatnot came in. The police ended up coming. Baby girl, she was okay. She kind of looked like she was maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4. No more than 6. She was very tiny. Definitely felt bad for her, because I'm like, there's no reason why a little girl or a little kid at that matter should be watching stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, they're too young to see that, and I can, I don't know. I can't picture that, like how that child would feel, what was going on in her mind at such a young age to see that. I know that's very traumatic, and so I feel very bad, and I feel very bad for the woman as well, for her to go through that. But it was a scary night, let me tell you. It really was. And honestly, like, it's one of those situations, like, it was like I wasn't like scared, but I was definitely like, what is going on? Like, panic mode, I guess you could say. And it was like also one of those situations where it was just like, what if the husband or the boyfriend or whatever, what if he actually got in the gym? Like, what if he actually followed her in the gym? Like, what would have happened? Like, would he have had a pew pew? Would he have had like any weapons, for that matter? Like, what would he have done? Like, would he have just came for her? Would have been like what would have, like, what would have happened if he would have came in? And to this day, I don't know, and I don't want to know. But I'm so glad that he wasn't able to get into the gym. I'm glad that he ran off somewhere, but not glad at the same time, because he was free, a free man, just out there running, and who knows where he went. If he found her again, I don't know. It's scary, because people like that shouldn't just be out there just running around, just, you know what I mean? And you're a danger to someone. But yeah, that was the time that a woman came into my job screaming to me, running to me, covered in blood, basically, just bleeding. Not covered in blood, but just face just bloody, crazy. It was a crazy experience. I'm telling you, I don't remember if I worked after that. I was scared to work after that. I think I worked 1 or 2 more times after that. And then at that point, like, I resigned, or, I don't say I quit, but, because I was in the process, I had to move anyways. So I think I worked 1 or 2 more times or so after that. And then I didn't work again, because I was moving to Hawaii. But yeah, that's the story time. I hope I did an amazing job at telling you guys that story, because it's a true story, for real. It really did happen. And I didn't know what to do, but I was really trying my best to comfort her the best way that I knew how. Making sure that everything was okay, calling 911 and making sure she got the help. I think I remember her thanking me, but I don't know. That was crazy. And the thing was, like, my stepdad came to pick me up. So when he pulled up, he saw that cops was in the parking lot. He was like, what the fuck? What? What is going on? Like, did I miss something? Like, why is the cops here? What is going on? But yeah, and when I told him, he was like, yo, that's crazy. That's wild. Like, that is crazy. But yeah, I just want to say before I end this, that if anyone has gone through situations like that, or you're going through a situation like that, I feel for you, because I know that it's easy to say, to leave a person, or, to do this, that, and the third, but you don't know what that person is going through, or what that person has been told, or how hard it is for them to want to leave, but knowing that if they do leave, something could happen, or, you know what I mean, out of fear, or it's just, I know it's a lot mentally that you're going through, and that nobody else would probably really understand, and you'd be literally scared for your life. But I pray that if anyone is going through that you seek help, you seek family, or any close friends that you feel like that you can trust, that you can go to and really get that help, and to really be in a better situation, in a better lifestyle, especially if you have kids, because you don't want to continuously keep putting your kids through danger, including yourself, you know what I mean? And risk you or your child's life. Like, that's not a good situation to put you or your child in. So I pray, like, there's so much that I want to say on that, but I feel like I don't know what to say right now. Like, so many different thoughts and different things in my mind that I want to say, but it's not all coming out. But I hope you know that I mean well when I tell this story. Like I said, it was a very crazy, scary night, but I hope that she's doing okay now and that she's happy with her baby girl and they're living life safely and happy. But yeah, that's the end of this story time. I'm scared that my phone is gonna cut off again. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, because it's Vlogtober, baby. Okay, so more videos are coming. Let me know what other videos that you want to see, and I'll see you guys next time, my babies. Bye, Raja Nation.